Hello. Today I'm going to be drawing this Sympetrum Dragonfly. I never have drawn a dragonfly before, I believe. I mean, maybe I did a long time ago. Um, yeah, I know they're like voracious predators of various insects. I don't know if they eat spiders as well, but yeah. I've seen some big ones where I'm from, usually near more swampland or like a pond. I have seen them in parking lots as well, but they don't stick around for long. They just kind of like fly away. I'm guessing they're looking for their next meal. It's really interesting to see the shape of this dragonfly. It's really unlike anything I've seen before, and to see all the divisions, like it's really interesting. I'm gonna have to try some new methods as I go, because when I look at this dragonfly, it has like some parts that are they seem a bit square, like here and there. But I'll show you. I mean, it's really interesting. Very interesting. Almost geometric like is what I would say. And it's quite surprising to me. Maybe it shouldn't be so surprising to me because I have seen many insects before, and I've always wondered, like scorpions in particular, are have a lot of forms that seem like they could be simplified geometrically in an easier way. So when I'm looking at this dragonfly, yeah, I'm seeing all of these really interesting segments that go. Like I'm looking here, and it's kind of like I'm seeing a shape like that before it goes and wraps around that form. I keep thinking of like a tractor for some reason. I don't know why, but every time I look at this dragonfly, that's what I keep thinking. And the forms are a bit bulging out in certain areas more than others. So I drew some of the body first. I'm not simplifying it in the simplest way now that I take a step back for a moment and look at it again. I think I'm going to draw some gestural lines for the wings. And dragonflies have like, I don't know if it's like just two wings, but they look like four. I could be wrong, but yeah, they're like attached to uh, these different places, and they kind of attach like very flat. It's really hard for me to make it out, but I will. And on the other side over here, it's a bit obscured. But the wings are so big, and yeah, they're just wrapping around. It's so. I mean, look at the patterns on those wings. They look so complicated. I mean, I'm pretty sure if one spent enough time to try to do it, it can be figured out. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I drew the ball of the head, I drew the thorax. I'm going to draw the abdomen now, and I'm trying to think the best way for me to simplify it. I think I may do it in a couple parts, and you'll see why. The big reason why is because I'm seeing some significant forms before it kind of before it looks like a plunger. I know that's a weird way to say it, that it kind of looks like a bit of a plunger near the end, and I also made that a bit too big. But you'll see. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Alrighty. So now, if you look on like the segments of the body, like I'm seeing these individual segments along the body, and it kind of looks like there's like are separations where the triangles are. Like there's like a triangle at certain intervals, and it kind of like wraps around the form. I'm seeing like those creases as we go. And they kind of all connect a little bit. I mean, not perfectly, but it's a very interesting pattern. Let me count. Got 2 more. And the last one's a bit longer. It looks a bit more like a trapezoid. Quite fascinating, I must say. Oh, also, you know what? Near the end, I think I should have made it a bit more... I feel like it bulges out a little bit near the end. Like, if you look at it, it's kind of like it does that before it kind of gets thinner, so maybe I kind of made a little bit of a mistake. Over here, I should have showed it bulging out a little bit more than I did. Alrighty. Now for those wings. Well, you know what, actually... Let me do some gestural lines for the legs. It's got 6 legs. They're all wrapped around this, I don't know if it's a plant of some sort, but they're all on the bottom of this ball here. They're very, the perspective of it, we can like see all of the legs. We can't see the ends of all the legs, but we could see like, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it looks like it's, and I could be wrong, but it looks like it's like putting its hands together. I don't know why. Maybe I should have tried to draw a little bit of a part of the plant, because I keep thinking the plant is incredibly important, considering it. This dragonfly has its hands wrapped around the plant, and I just want to draw like a simple form to show that. One thing that's really important that may not always be evident in a lot of my videos is I think insects and their environments are incredibly important, and sometimes like I draw without drawing the thing that they're on, like a flower or a plant of some sort. But I think it is important sometimes for me to draw that. And the reason why I say that is, in the past when I used to do a lot of gesture drawing, and there'd be someone sitting in a chair, it would be important to draw the chair first, because their gesture was incredibly dependent on them sitting in that chair, or like the way the human body would like mold to that chair, if that makes any sense. So, you know, basically just trying to show an importance of the environment that these bugs live in. Okay, now I'm going to draw some gestural lines for the legs. I will be adding, of course, the full leg. The front left leg is like right here. There is some obscuring going on, so it is important to keep that in mind. I also realized that I made that plant a little bit, it should be a little bit closer. Luckily, I put it on a different layer, so I could put it right about right there. Wrong layer. Okay. So yeah, I'm seeing the leg kind of like do that. Well, I'm trying to compare the angles because it kind of cuts about there and kind of comes there, and near the end it kind of like hooks. I'm not sure. I could be wrong here. I'll have to like Google it. I don't know if like dragonflies have those I call them like velociraptor hands. They're like perfect for grabbing stuff. I'm also gonna jump back to the head real quick. I think I need to draw the head before I could draw some of the legs, because I think I'm going to end up underestimating some of the legs before I draw that. So look at it. Look at its eyes. Its eyes are just bulging. They're just bulging out so much. I'm gonna color the eyes in for your convenience, just so we are on the same page. But yeah, those eyes are so big. I think dragonflies will eat like almost anything when it comes to the insect world. I could be wrong on that, but like now I'm wondering what goes after dragonflies, because they're like really weaponized is what I would say. There's also this intermediary form right here that kind of goes along the ball. It's a very significant form. And then I'm going to draw the other eye real quick. And it's like smack dab along that other eye. It's like they're both at the midpoint. As it goes around the form. I see, it may be a little bit difficult to see, but there is like a... You know, I need to make it bulging out just a little bit more. Okay. I'm seeing on the top of the head, it kind of looks like there's like a little bit of a crease, so I wanted to emphasize that. Now I need to draw this thing, whatever this thing is. It's this whole... I could see some of its mandibles on the bottom. I don't know what this is. It kind of looks like... I don't know what it is. But it does some interesting things. It's like, they're like these two... I really don't know what to call them. But it goes just a little bit beyond the ball of the head. And they're very interesting forms, whatever they are. And I do see a mandible here, I think. It's very subtle. There's also a little bit of a mouthpiece over there. But yeah, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, the reason why I had to do that is because I wanted to draw the legs now, because the legs are going in some very interesting directions, and I wanted to have the head to reference it. It's got like little claws on the end of those legs. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap with the legs, so it's a bit hard to see some of the areas. But you know, that's what happens sometimes when you're trying to take a nature photo. I would think that the smart bugs would be very cautious all the time. I mean, unless they're bees, and I learned the other day that bees are very or they could be very very hive-minded, I guess is what you would say. Oh, I also realized, no, I showed that separation. Okay, I don't need to do that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to draw the legs now, or some parts of the legs. They're very square. It's very... It's unlike a lot of the insects that I've drawn. A lot of the insects that I've drawn, they usually have like legs that are like little beans, like various beans. Like sometimes they have a flat side, then they have a more curved side, you know, stuff like that. But in this instance, they're all very, like, I see a little bit of a curvature to them, but they're very straight. They're very, very straight, and I think I overextended a little bit of that leg more than I should have. But yeah, a lot of the other legs, like, maybe they do have a little bit of a thickness to them, and they kind of thin out near the end. They do get thin, so it's a bit difficult to portray them. And they also have what I can only assume is like hair. I don't usually draw hair. I'm not sure if they're like those raptor claws. And if you're wondering why I keep saying raptor claws, well, I said before velociraptor, but I know like praying mantises. Like, look at a praying mantis's hands. They have like serious, very, very serious claws for holding on to their prey as they eat them alive. So I'm beginning to think that maybe maybe they're for that, like they're serrated of some sort. And if you don't know what serrated means, I would Google a serrated knife. Certain knives are used for different purposes, and some of them like have serrations on them for cutting different things, because like sometimes a flat knife may not always do the job right. If you ever have cooked, or if you do plan to cook, you'll learn what I'm talking about. I actually do some cooking some nights, if that helps explain. Okay. So we drew the legs. Let us draw the wings. And I'm going to keep it general. I would draw, like, I don't know if these are called lattices or lattices. I want to keep it a bit general, and I drew lines that the whole idea of a lot of the lines was to give like a center way before I draw both sides of the wings, kind of like this. And the reason why I approached the wings that way, I've drawn leaves for a while, and I usually start, like, if you're drawing a leaf, you'll usually start with the midrib. Just to give you an example of what a midrib is, it's kind of like the main rib of the leaf before it branches out. Like, you know, they have veins and all that. Then you have like that, and you have like that. I'm just scribbling, but you know, you have that, but yeah, this is like the midrib, and like that. Like, I know it's not completely flat like the other things, but when I learned how to draw leaves, that's generally how I would approach it. But yeah. And the way they connect is like very flat. It's really hard to see the initial connections. There's a bit of a bulging out part about here. I don't know if I drew much attention to it, but it does kind of just go around the form. It's a bit hard to see because the wing lattices or lattices are overlapping them just a bit. And I'm doing this comparison. I'm thinking I should have made this one down a little bit further, because it does that. Comes back. There's a lot of overlap when it comes to these wings. And don't even get me started on the other side because we can't see all of the attachment points of it. I mean, it's a good photo, don't get me wrong. Like, I have no doubt, like, you run into weird cases sometimes in which you can't always get everything that you may want to. I always think of like butterflies, in which I feel like you're only really gonna get a good idea of the wingspan. I kind of pinched that too much. I feel like you're only gonna get a good view of the wingspan in the event of pinning, which involves killing a butterfly. Not that I would do that, or moth, but yeah, I feel like seeing the full wingspan is very, very, very difficult to do. So here we have our dragonfly. You know, I could always try to take it further, and I do enjoy it, and I am. I feel like I could. I could try a little bit of the lattices of the wing. I am a bit exhausted as well, so you'll have to bear with me. Because when you do look at the wing, there are some areas that kind of go in a bit more than you would expect, and there's just a lot of overlap. A lot of overlap going on. Not that I'm not up to the challenge of it, but in general, when I make these videos, I try to keep it... I try to keep it at a certain level. I'm also changing my tool to a much thinner thing. Yeah, sometimes using thinner tools could be helpful for getting finer details of things. Yeah, there's just so many repeating lattices. It's such a complex insect. They're very cool, and as I said before, I know they are eaters. They eat a lot of bugs, probably to our benefit. I wouldn't be surprised if they eat a lot of parasites as well. But yeah, they eat. Good for them. Okay, I'm gonna mess up this lattice wing structure. I feel like that could be like a whole video dedicated to its own. If you do want more advice about drawing probably wings like this, I think you're probably better off trying to first learn to draw leaves and the individual like anatomy vein structures on a leaf, because I think that can probably give you a good warm-up to dealing with more complex structures and working within the bounds of a wing. But yeah, I don't want to I'm probably already messing up the wings or the lattices of them quite a bit, but it can be therapeutic if you do get into it. And nothing says you have to finish things fast either. When I started making a lot of these videos, I tried to make it long enough to get the points across, and I guess when doing that, I learned a lot. And yeah, I would say at this point, I'm going to leave it there. But yeah, I wanted to say that when I first started out making these videos, they took me about almost an hour long, sometimes a little longer, but with more experience, I've been able to draw them fast. Granted, not all of the individual detail, and I'm not going further and like trying to color this dragonfly either. Sorry, didn't mean to cough in the mic. So there is a lot of complexity to be aware of. Oh, you know what? I just saw one other mistake I made. See, the problem is I was not looking close enough. Right here, I didn't see that the leg kind of comes off and goes a little bit further down. Wow. Okay, yeah, another tip. And, I contradict myself because I may have made a video talking about working when you're exhausted. Yeah, when I'm exhausted, I make mistakes, and sometimes I may miss a few things here and there, although I do try to correct myself. I have, my day job is sometimes I commute, and when I get back late. So it's like, I really can't do anything about that. But I do try to give it my all. And I do try to caffeinate a little bit. If you do want another tip regarding that, don't have something too caffeinated because you may not be able to fall asleep at night, but go for something with medium caffeine. That's generally how I try to do it to keep the caffeine in my blood. Okay, so so if you like the video, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. And if you have a question, please ask in the comments. Thank you for sticking around and also watching me find a couple of the mistakes I made. There are probably more, but a little bit at a time. Thank you very much for listening. I do greatly appreciate it. Bye.